Okay, so again, when you take a look at this illustration that's here, just zoomed in a little bit so you can see it. It is backlit. You can see it has a couple different shadows, cast shadows, just to show you the light source. So it is a little bit of a backdrop and a little bit of some transparency showing through there. So picking each one and deciding which one has the selection on it. And again, thinking of this as a marketing piece where this whoever purchased this lip balm would use this and have this logo show up pretty much in their daily routine of putting that together. So depending on which one you choose, still showing the logo from Illustrator, and then trying to place this on here. So I'm going to borrow using the template, but just showing you this from this catalog again for Duluth Trading. And on the back page where they do have some of the items as a drawing, they even have this lip balm, as you can see, but it does look as if it has the computer label illustrated, or the graphics that were then incorporated into the drawing, placing that together. Otherwise, that's a very, very nice illustration, hand-drawn if it isn't. But that gives you some ideas, the application for that. And just let me show you the entire page again. So it has a 2-page spread because the illustrations crossed over. The advertisement for it is placed in there, and all the different drawings for that section. So just trying to show you the beginning and the end of the application, how it's placed in there. So just taking a look at this section, I'm going to try to estimate how large to make this. I'm going to make it relatively large. So just kind of getting the length, the width, and the height. And I'm going to borrow using one of these isometric templates, 30-degree selection. So I'm just going to go ahead and start this out here, but still keeping it in proportion when it comes up to the finished part. So I'm just going to estimate this part here for the center line, and just use the template to help me get that center line placed in there. And when you think of this, once this has the drawing set up, the center line is going to match corresponding with this. So as I go through this, a semicircle half the distance is going to create that base. And most of this is on the same section, so I can, as I'm drawing this, estimate the height of some of these pieces. This is the dial, taking a look at the base of it. So you can take a look at that, and it might have a couple pieces as the plastic is transparent and translucent there. So just putting that there, and then the label itself. So that gives me kind of the beginning, at least down at the base. And then coming up to the top, I'm going to go all the way to the top here. Still using the same template. And just going around the top. And you can see that it has the transparent parts coming through. Dropping this in here. And then it has the distance of the chapstick right there. So I'm trying to look at the drawing at the same time. So the label is going to fit right into this section. Placing that there. This is wrapping around. So before I go and try to do the lettering, I'm just going to give myself the tangent edge of this. And it quickly puts this together. And when you take a look at some of these drawings, again, just use this as a reference or inspiration part of it. They do have a pretty heavy line that almost looks like it's taken in on an Illustrator to do the outer edge of those objects, and that can be done in Photoshop as well, just by putting a stroke on the outer side of this. So right now I have pretty much of this label, if you think of it, transferring your drawing between computer and freehand stuff. And this is giving me plenty of selection there. So I'm just going to label this out. So that shows the label. So somewhere in between here is going to be the lettering. So I'm just going to freehand just a little bit of it to get it placed in there. And then go back and just clean that up with the template. So it has these two lines, and the end, the picture that I chose has this ending right here. So that's the label. Down here I just put a couple lines to represent that. So it has 4 lines of text. The first one is the largest. So I'm going to try to have to visually divide that in half. So here's the 4 spaces, like so. And then see if I can't give myself just these lines going across. So that's going to be a setup. So I'll do one just to show you what's happening. So for the baseline and the height line on type that's curved, just going to give myself that. And since it's dark against the back, it makes it a little easier to do. So this would be the height line, this would be the baseline for the CLE. And if you take a look and just make the letters fit within a block of type, it makes it a little bit easier. So for example, there's the letter E, L, and C. And so here's the E. And again, you can get pretty specific with it. I'm just using the template to help me out here. This letter C, just clipping that off. So hopefully I just see it. I should shade some of this in. And you can do it freehand and use a straight edge just so you can see the difference. What's happening there. Kind of see it slowly building up. So the spacing and the lettering, kind of think of the kerning, and the space between the lines of type is the lettering. It's going to give you a little bit of practice for that initial selection there. And then as you take a look at the rest of them, you can kind of set that up. So I'm going to start with one of them, like so. I'm going to create this one and go just the distance for the spacing. Just take a piece of paper, just getting a little definitive, and put a mark on each one and just drop it down. And see close I was to that. So just gave myself a little measuring from the first one. And see if I can keep them somewhat consistent. So I have the 3 lines of type. Now I just have to kind of fit them in there. Space. Second one in. So just making squares for each of the letters to fit in. hardest one's usually the curved letters like the S. Again, I can take this to help me with some of the letters. T. L. E. So it's doing the reverse type. C. Festival here. Festival. Try to make sure you're on the right one. So kind of a rough sketch there, but that shows the beginning to it. You have the initial sketch there. So now, just a matter of cleaning this up and trying to draw it. I'm going to use a little bit of a triangle there. So just using the straight edge again to help with the shading. Using the cross contour lines there. This shape. Build up the values for